Hey you guys, welcome to another live broadcast. If you're jumping on from Facebook and YouTube, welcome. Sunday night is my first night back. I always feel like I've missed you guys over the weekend. So hope everyone had a great weekend and you're ready for a great week. Tonight we are going to talk about hypoglycemia and intermittent fasting. And I think this is probably one of the most commonly asked questions that I get. And that is, if you're hypoglycemic, is intermittent fasting good for you? So we're going to cover a little bit about what being hypoglycemic is, and then we're going to talk a little bit about intermittent fasting and how those two can actually work well for you, being the fact that if you incorporate intermittent fasting, you can actually help your hypoglycemic condition. So if you are new, my name is Diane Parham, and I have been helping women find nutritional plans and fitness programs to help them look and feel their best and live their most authentic life. I've been doing that most of my adult life, and for the past couple of years, I have really found my own happiness with food and my health and my aging process with the process of intermittent fasting, and have now created that as a lifestyle for myself. And I am now teaching other women how to create an intermittent fasting lifestyle for themselves where they can feel comfortable with food, comfortable with their bodies, and actually help reverse some of the things that we suffer with as women as our hormones start to change and as we begin to age. So if you're new, welcome. If you're joining me on Facebook, always feel free to hit that like button. That way when I go live or post anything on my Facebook page, you will be notified. And if you're joining us on YouTube, welcome. Again, hit that subscribe button while you're on YouTube, and always feel free in either place to leave a message while we're going live now, or if you're coming back and watching this in a recording, always feel free to leave me a comment. I go back and review my comments frequently, and I always love to interact with you guys through the comment section. And then on YouTube, I want to give a big shout out to everyone who's been following me on YouTube. Thank you so much. We just hit a pretty big milestone pretty quickly on YouTube and passed the big 10,000 subscriber milestone. So thank you for trusting me. Thank you for coming back. And thank you for hitting that subscribe button. It means the world to me. And it just means that we have a bigger community of women who are taking control of their health and their lifestyles. And then we can be healthy women and pay that forward. So thank you, YouTube, for that. And Facebook, thank you for following as well. Okay, so we're going to get right into it tonight. Hypoglycemia and whether intermittent fasting can be that thing that can help you if you're hypoglycemic, like I said, is probably the most commonly asked question that I get. And if you've been watching me for any amount of time, or you've been following some of my YouTube videos, I talk about my symptoms with hypoglycemia. I was one of those people who was never diagnosed as hypoglycemic, but I've suffered the symptoms of it my entire life, even in childhood. I remember, my mom telling me stories about how when I would get home from school, like I would be in tears, just feeling like I was starving to death. I am the hangry person, or I used to be the hangry person. If I went, longer than a couple hours without a meal, I never left the house without a bag packed with some snacks, because I was afraid if I went too long without having some sort of meal in my body that I would, get faint and pass out, and definitely got the hangries. And so hypoglycemia doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to have to be diagnosed to be suffering from it. Hypoglycemia is something that you can just really kind of feel those symptoms and be a hypoglycemic person. You just might not hit a blood test radar. So again, that is when our blood sugar levels are low. So we do get headaches, we feel faint, we're cranky, we feel dizzy. All of those things are very legitimate reasons, are very legitimate symptoms, and you do not have to be diagnosed to be hypoglycemic at that level and suffer from it. So then if we think about intermittent fasting and we think about going long periods of time without eating and we're hypoglycemic, or we are suffering the symptoms of hypoglycemia, how in the heck do we ever become intermittent fasters? Well, the way I did it for me, and I'll share with you guys here in case you might be someone who is suffering from hypoglycemia and you would love to start intermittent fasting, but you can't wrap around your head how you would actually make that happen for you. The first thing that you want to do is you want to start becoming very conscious of how much sugar that you are actually consuming in your day. And I was that shocked person because I was a very healthy eater, and I wasn't a sugar eater, in my opinion, because I was eating foods that were approved to eat when you're eating clean or you're eating healthy. And what it ended up being for me was that I was very much over consuming fruit because I was following someone else's diet plan, not something that was designed for me and my lifestyle and my body. And what happened is when I was over consuming carbs and I was over consuming sugar in the fruit form, so I was doing too many complex carbs and too much fruit, and I ended up putting myself in a insulin resistant and pre-diabetic state. So you can overeat sugar and overeat fruit and think that you're doing something good for your body, but if your body can't break those sugars down, then that's when we kind of get into those situations where we become insulin resistant, we become pre-diabetic, and then we end up being hypoglycemic because our body ends up needing that sugar constantly, and then we start to feel those symptoms. So fruit and complex carbohydrates are those things that if you are feeling the symptoms of hypoglycemia, you want to start being very aware of them. I always suggest keeping some sort of food journal or diary to kind of track what you're eating and see how much you're actually consuming in a day realistically, and not just assuming that you're doing a great thing by avoiding the cookies and candies and stuff like that. Sugar is sugar is sugar, and your body is going to treat it as such when you put it inside. So if you're feeling hypoglycemic and you would like to start incorporating intermittent fasting, the first thing to do is be very honest with yourself about how much sugar or how many sugar carbohydrate grams you're having in a day. I don't really like to have people track macros and grams and calories and portions and all that kind of stuff. But I think in the very beginning, when you're trying to make a change, it is one of those things that can be very eye-opening for you, because that's exactly what I had to do in the beginning. And I then realized why I was pre-diabetic and why I was so insulin resistant and why I was becoming so sick. Because I got a real nice snapshot of what I was doing in my day that was healthy and good for me, and it was actually making me sick. So I say keep a food journal and count things in the very beginning to kind of determine where your starting point is, and then how you can start to eliminate some of those unnecessary sugars to start getting yourself on track. The second thing that you want to do if you are feeling hypoglycemic and you want to change that condition in your body and you want to start intermittent fasting is you want to gradually get yourself into a fasting protocol. And so what we do in my course is we do it exactly this way, and we just start by skipping breakfast. And we let our body sort of adjust to going without our, the beginning of our day starting off with calories in our body, and then we adjust to that. And then the next, event that we do when your body's feeling ready for it is we skip the morning snack. And then we work our way to skipping lunch, and then we skip the afternoon snack. And you work your body through a fasting protocol as your body starts to adjust to not having that sugar in it or not having those calories in it. And you do that just based on how your body's feeling. And so if you gradually get yourself into that routine and that habit of not depending on food and not depending on that sugar, then your body will find a different source, and it's generally a fat source, which we all have plenty of stores of in our body. And then it starts to learn to look for that and isn't so dependent on the sugar, and then you won't get those symptoms of being hypoglycemic anymore eventually when you start getting really good at it. You want to make sure that you're replacing some of those carbohydrates that you're used to having with some healthy fat. Remember, fat and carbohydrates are two energy sources. And when we're hypoglycemic and when we're insulin resistant and we're, in that state of, pre-diabetic or diabetic, that our bodies are using sugar to burn for energy. And what we really want them to burn for energy is fat. And so if we're going to cut down on the energy foods which are provided for us in carbohydrates, then what we want to do is replace them with some healthy fats so you don't end up feeling over fatigued when you're changing over your energy burn source from sugar to fat. So some really great tips for incorporating healthy fat are avocados, are olives. If you are a dairy person, putting some grass-fed butter into your routine is a great way to add some healthy fat. Using really good quality oils. We use a lot of avocado oil in our home. If you're comfortable with the olive oil that you have, then using olive oil, coconut oil, nuts, all of those things are great options for providing your body some good fat energy sources that are going to be readily available while your body is transitioning from being a sugar burner to a fat burner. And then And then as you start to feel comfortable, then you're going to just gradually increase that fasting window so that you will then become an intermittent faster, and your body will no longer be dependent on that every 2 to 3 hour feeding window. Remember, you became hypoglycemic for a reason. So whatever it is that you have been doing is clearly not working for you. And I know for us women who have been following diet plans and have been following other people's methods for losing weight, most importantly, we tend to not diet for health reasons. Obviously, losing weight makes us healthier, but the first and foremost reason that we always follow a diet plan is to lose weight or to change our physique. And so what we really focus on in our fasting group that we do for women is let's get healthy first, and then let's see what happens when our body's functioning in a healthy state, what we can do to manage our weight loss. And what that really does for us is it takes all the emotional and psychological pressure off what you're doing with your nutrition and really puts you in a mind frame and a way of thinking where you're putting yourself first and you're putting your health first. And then as you start to feel better, because dieting just doesn't feel good when you're super restrictive on things and you're going through withdrawals of foods, is when you start to feel better, then you're more inclined to stick with what you're doing and to really focus on why it is you're doing things for the healthy reasons. And we have done this intermittent fasting for today's Aging Woman's course now. I think we're on our 4th month. And the end result is that we have women that are losing weight. Oftentimes they don't even realize they're losing weight because their focus is not there. We're not weighing ourselves. We're just eating really good food and we're focusing on how we feel. As a ex-hypoglycemic person, I know that is a very boxed in way to feel when in your life. It's a scary way to feel when you feel like you constantly have to have some food with you, or you're afraid you're going to pass out, or you're going to bite someone's head off, or you're going to feel shaky. I mean, I understand that feeling. I was that woman. And you can go far back in my video library, and you can see videos where I have, taught women how to go, pack an insulated lunch bag, and don't you dare leave that house without packing enough food to get through your 4-hour errand day or whatever it is that you were going to do. And now, as a recovered hypoglycemic person, I can go 20 hours without putting any food in my body, and I don't get hangry, I don't get shaky, I don't get a headache, I don't feel faint. I feel very confident and I feel very strong in the lifestyle that I've created, not being food dependent. And I'm healthier than I've ever been, and the women who are in our course are feeling the same way. So if you are interested in trying to do some things that might take you out of that hypoglycemic arena, I suggest a couple things. If you're being treated by a doctor for hypoglycemia, what you should do is always consult your physician and see what your physician says. Most physicians are not comfortable with intermittent fasting, but it's just because they haven't been trained on what it does for people in regards to the nutrition aspect of it. So I always say go visit your doctor. Don't make any decisions while you're there, and then come back home and then do some more research and then find the best situation, or maybe a combination of advice your doctor gave you and a combination of advice that you've researched, and find something that you feel comfortable with for you. Eating every 2 to 3 hours will keep you hypoglycemic. The studies are there. It is just not what we need to cure our bodies. Our bodies are a self-healing machine and do best in a fasted state when it comes to healing. And like I said, I was that woman who was hypoglycemic. I was that woman that was afraid to leave the house without having food in my possession. And now I sit here and I am going on, a very long fast today. I'm actually going to be fasting for about 3 days, and I don't get any of those feelings anymore, and I don't get the hangry. So I always say it's worth giving it a try. You have nothing to lose. If you're not feeling good day in and day out already, then you have nothing to lose but the opportunity to feel better and to do some things to change your health and well-being. And what happened to me was I've been hypoglycemic my entire life, and then I went from that to being insulin resistant, to being pre-diabetic. And if I wouldn't have caught it, I'm sure I would have diabetes at some point in my life, even as a quote unquote healthy eater and a woman who's very aware of her body and working out and doing all the right things to maintain a healthy lifestyle. So it's just what our food is doing to us, and it's the way that we've been trained to live. It's not our fault, but we have to be open-minded enough to try something else if what you're doing is not working for you any longer. And then, like I said, do your research and then experiment. Remember, with intermittent fasting, the biggest thing about intermittent fasting is we're just shifting the time in which we start consuming calories. You don't even have to do any kind of special quote unquote diet nutritionally in the very beginning, other than if you are hypoglycemic, you want to make sure that you are aware of how many sugar grams or how much carbohydrates you're actually intaking in your day. Because if you can reduce those, then you're already going to be in a better situation. And then what ends up happening as you increase your fasting window and you decrease your feasting window is you have less opportunities to kind of mess things up nutritionally, because you only have a few hours to eat. And for most of us now who are really good at fasting and really comfortable with our bodies, we're eating twice a day. We're not eating 6 times a day. So you don't even have to worry about how much food you're consuming or the variations of food you're consuming. When you're eating twice a day, it's a very simple way to live. It's very cost effective. And it is just being proven to be a very smart way to live your life. So I'm going to jump on here on Facebook really quick. I'm going to see who's here and say hello and see if there's any questions. Jenny's here. Thank you. Sherry, thanks for talking about this. Sherry, you're very welcome. Cindy's here. Okay, let me see what I got over here on YouTube. Is it okay to take daily medications during IF? Yeah, I mean, if you have to take medication, you have to take medication. I just say, if, read your labels on your medication. If you need to take your medication on, on some food, then just shift the time that you take your medication to your feasting window so you don't end up with, an upset stomach or anything like that. Deborah, hi, watching from an Alaskan cruise. Deborah, have fun on your cruise, and thanks for jumping in and making us part of your cruise with you. Yvonne, hi, I used to travel through my day with food, not anymore. Freeing to not have to think about food while running errands. I do, however, travel with my water. Yes, travel with your water. And I got I got this water bottle. You guys, right here, it's an insulated water bottle. I got it at a sporting goods store here. It's not a Swell bottle. It was $9.99. It keeps my water just as cold as any other insulated water bottle. I had ice and water in it today in the Texas heat in the car, and I had ice when I got home. The way I do water, I'll explain to you guys really quick since it kind of got brought up, is I drink a 25-ounce Mountain Valley spring water in the morning when I wake up. I was desperate to find a 25-ounce water bottle because it just makes math easy for me, because I like to drink 100 ounces of water a day. So this is a 25-ounce water bottle. I drink 2 or more of these throughout my day. This is just filtered water from our house. And then I close my day out with a 25-ounce Mountain Valley spring water bottle. So this is how I easily and mentally track my water. I know that everything that I'm consuming in a water bottle is 25 ounces. So if I empty and fill this twice and I have my Mountain Valley, I'm good to go. Anything over that is just a bonus. So make sure that you are tracking your water, because if you're fasting and you're not feeling well, you're feeling fatigued, it's usually because you've kind of purposely dehydrated yourself. Melissa, is it okay if I vary day to day by doing 16-8? Yes, and that's how I do it. My needs seem to change daily. I want to make sure I'm not confusing my body too much. Melissa, you can't really confuse your body with intermittent fasting. You're either fasting or you're feasting. So I say it's called flexible intermittent fasting when you vary your fasting window and your feasting window. And my advice to women is always to fast and feast around your lifestyle. So if you have a lifestyle maybe socially that requires you to change, then yes, change your fast and feasting schedule. If you have a job where maybe you have to go out and take someone to lunch or something, feast and have your lunch and just change it again the next day. So the beautiful thing about intermittent fasting and flexible intermittent fasting, to take it even a step farther, is that you should build your fasting schedule to meet your lifestyle. Oftentimes when we're dieting, especially really restrictive dieting or dieting that has a bunch of rules in it, it's a success or failure situation, and oftentimes we fail more than we are successful. And the beautiful thing about intermittent fasting is you can't fail at it. You just make a choice. You're either going to fast or you're going to feast. The amount of time you fast is dependent on what's going on in your life on any given day. The amount of time that you feast is going to be dependent on what you have going on in your life on any given time of the day. And you just flow through your fasting and your feasting windows, and you will be successful. Anytime that you can put your body in a fasted state is beneficial to your body. So just think about always giving your body an opportunity to be fasted. Are you absolutely eating nothing for 3 days, just water and mineral water? No fat shake for you? No, Dawn, I am doing a fat shake day 1. I did a fat shake. Tomorrow, I think I'm going to try to go without a fat shake. And then Tuesday, I'm going to end up breaking my fast because it's our son's birthday. And again, we're going to, put our fasting and feasting around our lifestyle. So we're going to take him out to dinner, I'm sure, or something. And so I'll break it there. I don't like to go completely fasted. There's no reason for me to go absolutely nothing in my body for an extended period of time right now, and it's summertime and it's with the kids. So when I do an extended fast, I just give myself an opportunity to just chill out and not have to eat if I don't want to. And so that's what I do. And in the group that I'm working with our alumni, our goal for an extended fast is just progress, not perfection. So if someone says they want to fast for 7 days, but every day they're going to eat an avocado or have some olives or have some bone broth or do something to kind of make themselves feel okay to get to that time, then that's successful. We don't have any rules when we're doing our extended fast. We just kind of do what makes us feel good and just kind of give us a break without food. Eileen, how do you handle eating a bowl of ice cream? How do you handle eating a bowl of ice cream last night? Eileen, I didn't eat a bowl of ice cream. Did you eat a bowl of ice cream? So you say you're fasting day 3. Do you mean a full for 3 days of consuming some fat? I don't, Jim, I don't put any rules when I do an extended fast either. So even if I was doing it, let's say I was going to fast all week, but then I broke my fast on Tuesday for my son's birthday and then went right back into fasting again, like that to me is considered an extended fast. So anything that goes past my normal 20 hours to me is an extended fast. So even if I just did a 25 or 24 hour fast, I would consider that extended because it's more than what my body usually does. So I do it to shock my body more than anything. IF has given me so much mental clarity. It really does work. It really does work, Lisa. D, hello. Hey, D. Okay, over. Hi, Diane. Just joined July course. Did 24-hour fast Friday, 4 p.m. to Saturday. Headaches, vomiting, diarrhea yesterday. Don't recommend it, but feel I was given a miracle. No binge, thoughts of sugar. Okay, cool. Yeah, so the thing about extended fasting is not everyone can do it, and not everyone should do it. But, remind me, Overcomer, we'll talk about it in July too. Hey, Nicole. Extended fasting isn't that thing that should be, what I really stress in my courses is what we don't want to create with fasting is a bunch of food-phobic women. We've already been through all that in our lives if we've ever dieted. So we don't do extended fasting to become food-phobic or to try to starve ourselves or try to be extremists or anything. It really is just an opportunity to feel your best. And if you don't get that feeling of feeling your best, then I just say it's not a good time for you to do an extended fast. We just came back from Mexico on vacation and we kind of knew we were going to do some extended fasting, but we're totally playing it by ear. And if I wake up tomorrow and I feel like I need to eat something and I'm not feeling good, trust me, I will eat something and I won't feel like I failed because I've already done a really good day today. So when you set up a time in your life to do some extended fasting, I personally use it as an opportunity to become very conscious of my body, very conscious of how I'm feeling, and very conscious of the food that's around me. And oftentimes I eat out of a want as opposed to a need. So there were many opportunities today. I could have just grabbed some food, but because mentally I've made a decision to be in an extended fast, I refrained from just popping food in my mouth out of boredom or curiosity or whatever. And so that's really what I like to do extended fasting for, is to just become very aware of how I'm feeling, very aware of food around me, very aware of why I'm putting food in my mouth, and do I need it or do I want it? And if at any point during an extended fast, I always recommend, if you're feeling like you are absolutely not feeling well, you have to eat. And you just choose really good food to put in your body. Very nutrient dense foods, high fat foods if you can, and then you regroup. How did you feel once you ate something that was good for you, something that was high fat, gave you some energy, gave you that feeling of being satisfied, put your hunger hormones at bay for a little while? Now, do you think you could fast for another day? Jump back in. If you feel like it was a horrible experience, then extended fasting is just not your jam, and that's okay, because as long as you put yourself in some sort of fasting opportunity at some point in your life, you're going to do your body good, even if all you do is start by stopping eating breakfast. Because for a lot of us, the breakfast part of our day is usually a very high carb day, and we've already kind of like blown it for ourselves. So just skip breakfast and have a big glass of water and just go into your day like that and see if that works for you. It doesn't have to be anything that's too extreme. Okay, let's see. Chill. I have been working up to longer fasts. I found the low blood sugar issue to be easy to overcome with water and a positive state of mind, learning to trust the process. Jill, bingo, girlfriend, you've just won. Dawn, that's what I like about you. You're aspiring and honest. Oh, thanks, Dawn. That's awesome. I have no reason to be fake here. I have no reason to kind of make you guys feel like you're inferior or that you can't do it or that you're wrong in anything that you do. If it works for you and it feels good to you, it's right for you. And you don't need to cookie cutter follow anyone anymore. We are grown up people, grown up women. We have lots of responsibilities in our life. We have lots of people that we're responsible for. I say we're making decisions, that are influencing other people's lives. It's time we start making decisions that influence our own lives, and we need to stop being those kind of people who are always trying to please everyone else at the expense of us and our well-being. So you got to figure out what works for you. You have to figure out the foods that work best for you. Create a fasting environment for yourself so that you can heal your body on your own, and don't worry about anybody else's opinion or feelings. We have to worry about people's feelings to some extent, but not to the extent that it's going to keep jeopardizing you and keep you from doing what you need to do that's good for you. And you'll see that there are enough people on both YouTube and Facebook who are getting amazing results with intermittent fasting that you can too, if that's what you want to do. You just got to take it at your own pace. Marmar, hi Diane, I'm in your June course. I'm doing 36-hour fast since yesterday, feeling pretty good, cravings gone, drinking sparkling mineral water and butter coffee. Well, there you go. Carrie, finished a 4-hour fast, and it was a fantastic restart for my body. Awesome, Carrie. Kathy, I'm really excited about this intermittent fasting. I'm only 4 days into it and have no hunger, and my hot flashes and night sweats have diminished by 80%. Kathy, it's just going to get better. Okay, cool. So those are some great comments on YouTube, guys. Did you say that you still eat a shake a day on a 3-day edge? Yeah. So Jill, sometimes I do have my shake because, especially in the very beginning, because I don't like to go from 60 to 0 too fast. I just don't want to feel bad. So I found for me what works is I do my shake every day, but I really cut it down to only the necessities in it. So I put the spinach in it and the macadamia nuts, and I do ripple milk because it does have the fat and stuff. And then I have that the first couple of days, and then that's just it with my water and then my coffee. But I'm also cutting out stevia too, because stevia tends to make me have like a sweet craving. So I cut all the extras out, and then I'll see tomorrow how I feel. And if I don't need my shake, I won't have my shake. If I feel like I need it, then I'll have it. And so I just go day by day and just see how I feel and just readjust every day. There are some people that I absolutely admire in my groups that are doing multiple day fasts with just water, and God bless them. I think they are awesome. I have not gotten to that point yet. I don't know if I ever will. I hope I will, because I know there's some benefits with the autophagy and the healing process, but for some reason I'm just not there yet. I'm so excited, drinking lots of water, Deborah. Awesome, good. Jamit, do you intake a shake while on the 3-day? Yeah, I do a shake, but it's very, very limited on what I put in it. Okay, cool. So let me see if I got anything else going on over here on Facebook. Molly, hi Diane, I'm currently doing 16-8 intermittent fasting. However, I am a snacker during my eating window. Do you recommend eating only 2 meals during this time and avoiding snacking. Molly, I encourage you to do what feels best for you. There are some days when I'm in my 4-hour feasting window when I can barely get a shakedown. I'm just not even really wanting to eat, or I'm barely getting my 2 meals in. And sometimes I'll skip the second meal, or I'll have a meal and skip my shake, or whatever. It kind of just depends on how I'm feeling. And then there's other times during my 4-hour feasting window where it's like I just hover in the kitchen and eat for 4 hours, but I just eat really good, nutrient-dense food. And you got to just go with the flow on it. There will be days that your body just demands more from you calorie-wise, and you just feed it good. And then the days that you don't, your body's not demanding that, I say listen to it. There's no need for you to shove food down your throat if you're not hungry and your body's not giving you the signals that it needs it. So I say make your own rules and then play it day by day, because every day is going to be different. Shauna, you want to know what's in my fat shake? You can go to YouTube and search how I break my fast, and there's a video on it. Debani, hi Diane, how do you feel about ketogenic style of eating? Debani, I'll answer that in just a second. Lori, I started IF 4 weeks ago and have been at 16.8 for 2 weeks. I haven't felt good at 16.8. Is it possible I should go back to 14.10? Lori, I always say go the other way. If you're not feeling good at 16.8, I usually say go 24. You might not be allowing your body enough time in your fasted state to actually feel good. So I say up your fasting window and give it about a week and then see how you feel. Oftentimes you're just not fasting long enough, so you're not getting out of that sugar burning state. You're sort of hovering in it, and so your body's not happy. It wants you to either be one or the other. When you're hovering, and that 16.8 seems to be that window where a lot of women hover as sugar burners, but you're not giving it enough sugar to be happy, you have to get out of it. So I would say 20-hour fast with a 4-hour feast and see how that works. That seems to be a sweet spot for a lot of people. I would like to try this, but afraid. Afraid shake would trigger the eating. Yeah, so if you're afraid, don't do it, because it's a lot of it is a mental commitment and a mental decision. So if you're nervous and you're not mentally and emotionally in a state that you can handle it, then don't do it, because your mind will cause your body to not follow. So you have to, there's a mental buy-in to all of this. And if you don't have the mental buy-in, then you're going to suffer. Don't suffer. That's crazy. It's not crazy, but it's just unnecessary, I guess is the word I want to say. You don't want to put your body in a suffering state, and you don't want to be in combat with your emotions and your psyche and your body. So you have to wrap your head around it. And if you're uncomfortable, I say do more research. You probably haven't had enough research yet to prove to you that it's a good thing. And then when you get enough research, or you found the person that you click with, then you'll probably be comfortable, and then that might be an opportunity for you to go in. And then you just do it slowly. You don't want to do anything too quickly, because you don't want to put your body in shock, and you don't want your body to revolt against you. So everything we do it gradually, and we don't change a whole lot on our nutrition while we're starting to fast, other than watching that sugar. Okay, so I got asked about the ketogenic diet. I have nothing against the ketogenic diet, except I don't follow diets, not even the ketogenic diet. I don't like diets because they're restrictive. I don't like diets because they're hard to manage for a long time. The ketogenic diet is too much work for me. I just eat food. I don't want to count anything. I don't want to cook anything. And there's just way too much complexity to it for me. So what I do for myself nutritionally, I describe it like this. I go a high fat diet, a moderate protein diet, and a conscious carbohydrate diet. That's what I do for my food, and that's how I live my lifestyle. I don't count calories. I don't count macros. I don't portion control my food. I know what foods work for me. I know what foods make my body feel its best. I know what foods now make my body look its best, because there are some foods that make me look very hagged out and tired and make my skin awful. And so I just avoid those foods now. I've done this long enough, and I've listened to my body intently enough to know what foods don't work for me. And so those are the foods that do work for me. Those are the foods that I consume, and I just eat them when I eat them, and I eat how much of them I want to eat when I'm eating. And there's enough days where I'm in a good fasted state that I don't need to worry anymore about counting my calories, because my body has been able to do that for me. My body sends me signals when I've had enough to eat. And so that's what I go off of. Going into my 6th week and have lost 10 pounds, loving it. Started 16.8, now 24, feeling great. Yeah, Cynthia, 16.8 is a great place to start. 24 is a great place to live in for a lot of people. Shauna, I thought it was 8-hour feast, 16-hour fast, 8-hour feast. Yeah, 16-hour fast, 8-hour feast. Did I say it backwards? So you're fasting for the longest part of your day and you're feasting for the shortest part of your day. So what I say is if you're not feeling good in a 16-8, push it up to a 24, but you do it gradually. So go from 16-8 to an 18-hour fast to a 19-hour fast to a 20-hour fast, and you just want to build it up. Yeah, a 4-hour feast. So what you want to do is get to a 4-hour feast and a 20-hour fast from where you are if you're not feeling good. Eileen, I ate a huge bowl of ice cream. You answered my question after listening. Okay, cool. So what is fat adaptive? So fat adaptive is when you're a fat burner and you're not a sugar burner, and your body goes into your system and it finds stored fat and burns it as energy. And I've done a couple videos on that, so we can go into that into another video if you guys want me to. I can talk about fat adaptive and the signals and science and stuff like that again. I'm not going to do it tonight because I'll be on here forever. But I have a video on that if you want to look at that. Okay, so I think I'm going to go. Hopefully that helps my women who are hypoglycemic and are scared to try intermittent fasting. It's very natural to be scared to try something new, but always ask yourself this question: how is what you're doing right now working for you? And if what you're doing right now is putting you in a sick state, then you have to find an alternative. You have to find some options and do some experimenting to get your body into a state where you're no longer sick. And I know it's hard to believe, but food is making us sick, and the overconsumption of food is making us sick because our bodies can't break it down and it just doesn't know what to do with it, and then it sits around and it starts causing us some problems. So do some research, ask some questions, and then connect with a place where you can do some experimenting and some learning in an environment where you're supported and when you're with like-minded people. If you think this is a place for you and you're feeling comfortable here, we do have a course starting in July. It will start July 1st. We are taking registrations. We're, I think, 3/4 of the way full for July. We only take a limited number of women. So if you are interested in joining a group and learning some how-tos with intermittent fasting and how to get yourself into intermittent fasting gracefully so that you're not putting your body into shock and you're not suffering, definitely feel free to click the links that will be below both of these videos as soon as we get off. You can register there, or any one of the videos on my YouTube channel has a link, or you can email me, emails everywhere, and get yourself in a course. I think as women, we do kind of deserve to know the whys and the hows of what we're doing. And again, that goes back to my advice of don't follow anyone blindly. Don't just take a script and just follow it without asking questions. Don't just take a script and a to-dos of something that has to do with your body and your health and your lifestyle without someone taking the time to explain to you why it is you're doing and if it will actually work for you. Not everyone's body is the same, and not everyone's system requires the same things to lose weight and be healthy. So it's our responsibility as women to take that responsibility on for ourselves and to educate ourselves and to experiment and then to stick with something that's actually going to work for us. So with that being said, I am going to jump off. I hope you guys have a super Sunday night. It's, like I said, it's the beginning of my time with you, so I'm super excited. I will be back here tomorrow night at 9 p.m. Central Standard Time. If you have something that you're dealing with or something that you have a question about, definitely feel free to message me or email me. I can always bring it up as one of the topics that we discuss here on YouTube and Facebook. I never have a problem with that at all, so definitely feel free to reach out to you. Siobhan. Oh, you're welcome, girlfriend. Definitely feel free to reach out, and I will do my best to answer any questions that you have. If you're looking to join one of our groups, we do have one starting in July. Like I said, just message me or look for one of the links on any one of my social media sites. It's there. Get yourself registered. It will be the best thing that you could do for yourself this summer, and before you know it, you will be a fat burning machine, and you won't be hypoglycemic, and we won't need to be carrying food with us everywhere, and your life will be simplified, and you will save a ton of money and a ton of time, and you'll be around a great group of women who are just like you, going through the same things that you're going through in life, and that right there offers a great amount of comfort and support, and we're healing ourselves, and then we're going to be able to pay that forward to future generations and to our girlfriends and family around us who might be suffering as well. So have a good night, you guys, and I will see you tomorrow night.